What's going on, guys? It is I, once again, SomeJoeSchmoe, here to talk about movies. We're going to be taking a look at my second pick of favorite movies from October that I watched. And if you guys have not checked out the first one, I implore you to reconsider and go ahead and do that right now. Anyway, before we do get into today's video, just a little recap of what we're going to be doing here. We've already put out number 1, today's number 2 pick, and in the next few days we're going to be putting out our number 3 pick of our favorite top 3 best picks of October movies that I watched. And coming next week, we're going to be doing a top 3 worst movies that I watched. So stay tuned for that. But before we do that, this is me once again reminding you to go ahead and just shoryuken that like button. And I want you to go ahead and just, maybe take out that subscribe button for a lovely day. Maybe just treat it like a nice individual that it is, rather than treating it just like, some mindless entity that you have to do every single time I, start one of these videos. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our number 2 pick movie of October. Next up, we've got Blood Vessel. Once again, we have another Shudder find here, and Blood Vessel is actually a really surprisingly decent movie. Taking place in 1945, Blood Vessel follows a group of survivors of a downed civilian hospital ship set in 1945 at the end of World War II. And now, a history lesson. Towards the end of World War II, Hitler and the Nazi Party began sinking civilian hospital boats in hopes of demoralizing the Allies. Our survivors are comprised of some of the most diverse group of individuals that I've seen in a movie. We have American man, Australian man, another American man, English woman, old American, Russian man, wimpy British man. Diverse. For those of you who don't know, Hitler was actually really wrapped up into studying and researching the occult. So much so that they believed that they were infused with magical powers and I guess pretty much just went insane and found a vampire and now it's a boat that's got vampires on it. That's historic, okay? Don't look that up. That's by the books. It should be taught in history classes. Vampires. It's just so stupid. The movie opens up with our group of survivors lost at sea. Now, lucky for them, our survivors stumble upon a boat. I say stumble upon, and I use that word pretty loosely, when actually the boat is just coming at like 50 knots through the ocean water. Is 50 knots really that fast? I assume so. Now, for my own peace of mind, I actually looked it up, and these guys are doing at least 46 knots over here. So I'd imagine, through process of deduction, that 50 knots has got to be a little faster than a normal boat would be, right? I mean, clearly at this point, the boat's got to be gunning it, right? Given this situation, our survivors have really only one option, and that's to attempt to try to board this boat. They quickly realize that no crew members are even looking over the side of the ship. Now, I've seen Castaway plenty of times. If you see somebody drifting in the water, you have that, is it a foghorn that you usually, is that what it is? A man overboard horn? I don't know boats. As they approach the boat, our Russian man here gets a glimpse at what appears to be a ghost girl. Now, after boarding this mysteriously empty ship, there's nothing on board. Nothing out of the ordinary. Don't worry about the dead body just lying there. Don't worry about, the engine just being set to full mast, just going straight through the water. No big deal. There's nothing out of the ordinary going on here, right, guys? We quickly find out that what we thought was a ghost girl indeed is a real girl, as our group decides to track her down in order to question her about what exactly happened on this boat. Hey, English woman, careful, she might have rabies. Ooh, I hope that doesn't come back to bite her in the ass. Now, the little girl appears to be looking for her family. How, you might ask, we find that out?
Familia me. Loro asla familia me.
Family.
What's that?
Yeah. Something about family. Family is familiar.
It's with this type of intelligence from the Americans that it's no wonder we won the war, man. I mean, with critical analysis and how we figured that out, I mean, bravo. Familia means family. The little girl quickly escorts our group of survivors down to is it the bulk? The bottom of the boat, where we quickly realize there is one sole survivor left on the ship, only to be quickly exterminated. Yeah, well, I guess we're not going to find out what happened on that boat. Fortunately for our survivors, though, the one survivor who was quickly dispatched is in a room where many of artifacts of the occult are located. I'm not a big expert on artifacts and boxes, but I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb here and say that thing probably shouldn't be opened up. What happens anyway, though? American man quickly opens up the box, and we are finally revealed the creature that will be the main antagonist of the movie. And I gotta say, guys, the design of this creature is actually really freaking cool looking. It gives a nice blend of a bat, vampire, humanoid figure, or if you're my mom, it looks like a pig monster. The next 45 minutes of this movie is essentially a fight for survival against these blood-sucking, menacing mutant monsters, which almost sounds like a morning TV show from the 90s. Our survivors must quickly do whatever they can to dispatch this creature before it reaches the mainland and then spreads its vampiric disease. Again, I really enjoyed this movie, but I gotta say, guys, one of the biggest gripes I've had with it is, unfortunately, the sound mixing of this movie. Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, I had to turn on closed captions because it seemed like the ambience and the music were mixed way higher than the actual voices of all of our characters, and it made it just really difficult to make out what they were saying.
It's one bloody thing after another, isn't it?
Let's take shelter.
Amen to that, Toots.
So, if you guys have no problems with closed captions, yeah, it's gonna be a great find. If you're like me and sometimes you get a little, I gotta read what's happening, then yeah, you're probably gonna ding it down a little bit, but that's just my uncultured mindset though. So, again, Blood Vessel, Shudder, check it out. Great little vampire flick, and yeah, check it out.
Get
And that was Blood Vessel, guys, our number 2 favorite pick of October. Of all the movies that we watched, we do have one more favorite pick coming out. And once again, as I did say at the beginning of this video, we're gonna be working on those next 3 top worst movies that I watched in October. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them are, you know, maybe me just being a little nitpicky about things, but ultimately I just had a really terrible time watching them. So hopefully you guys are gonna be staying tuned for that. It's been such a great ride so far with you guys. I can't even begin to express you know, how much all the support means, you know, even just the few comments that you guys are throwing out there, the, you know, likes and whatnot. It means the world to me that, you know, you guys are continuously supporting me, you know, through all my adventures, whether how dumb they might be. But guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a killer day. We'll be back here soon with our number 3 top favorite movie. But until then, this is SomeJoeSchmoe.